Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Guild Wars Prophecies series. Now, I should have fixed your recording issue that happened last time that made it come out really slow and choppy. That was my fault. I realized it's something that couldn't be fixed and published. I would have to redo the entire first part of the series, so I decided to just leave it up and live with the mistake and go forward with sort of the fixed issue. So hopefully it's looking and playing better as we do the creepy dance, the thriller, right here by this gentleman Baron Egan. And we will quickly jump right back into it. Ascalon City, now that we finished the first base quest, is now filled with a bunch of different side quests that provide sort of lore and general story about the area we can explore on our way to getting our other profession skills before leaving the tutorial area. So I'll go ahead and hit Control-Shift-H and bring our HUD back as we speak to the gentleman Baron Egan, who I ignored in the first episode. He should have a couple quests for us. We talk to him, and at first he says, "Hello, good citizen. I'm Baron Egan, and you appear to be in need of assistance. What is it I can help you with?" And this is the quest I originally went to Brother Minlow for last episode. I realized that you go to him at the end of the quest, and we'll pick this up. He tells us, "The Devourer Cave southwest of the town has always been a source of danger to the people of Lakeside County, but they have learned to be vigilant and to defend themselves from the beasts. Unfortunately, I've been hearing recently of a new sort of devourer with a poisonous sting. I'd like you to find one of these creatures, kill it, and take its poisonous stinger to Brother Minlow." So he can count on us. And we'll take the bandit raid. I don't know if I'll do this one on screen or not. It could be something I just do on the side, as this one's not too important. But, he says, "A group of bandits has been terrorizing Lakeside recently. They have grown so bold that they ambushed a royal tax collector and stole a chest full of gold. The gold is vital to our war effort against the Char and must be recovered. You look like you could give those bandits a good thrashing. Will you recover the stolen chest and return it to Devona and Ashford for me?" Yeah, Ashford's not far away. We of course could also deny I don't think I'm the right person for the job, but we are a questing hero per se. And as we go down these stairs, conveniently, there's another person here, Sandra Ellick, with a last name we will likely be hearing somewhat regularly once we leave the tutorial area. We'll see why in a moment. And a whole wall of text, but she tells us, "I'm sorry to bother you, but I've heard some not that voice. I'm sorry to bother you, but I've heard some impressive things about you, and I think only someone with your skill and bravery can help me with my problem. I think my brother, Orion, has fallen in with the Royalists. He's not wicked, just reckless and impulsive. When Sir Titus expelled him from the academy, he became embittered toward the army, but I don't think he realizes how serious this is. I don't want him to throw his life away for a foolish price. Do you think you could find him and tell him what I said, perhaps convince him to come home? I don't know exactly where he is, but I imagine Relina Stormbringer in Foible's Fair might. Orion was always trying to impress her. He might have told her something, and of course we'll try and bring the brother home. And we get a new tidbit of lore there, the Royalists. What's that about? Well, that's always been a fun sort of little trivia and lore and possible source of complications towards the future of this world, as the current King Adalburn is not of royal blood, he was a soldier. So these princes are not part of the line of monarchy that existed in the Kingdom of Ascalon before, but instead a new monarchy that was elected after the guild wars that took place. There'll be another quest sort of dealing with that later on, so we'll go ahead and leave it at that for right now, but it's sort of that interesting background thing. And Prince Rurik here will have a quest for us as well. And he tells us, "A group of Char have broken through the gates. They must be stopped at all costs. Meet me at the gates just outside of town. What say you? Will you help me drive these Char from Fair Ascalon?" And yeah, in context, that's a really big deal. So, because as we showed last episode, the Ascalon guards are fighting the Char right at the wall of the city. Just there, they're constantly pressing, and as said before, this is a war we cannot lose, and we had some grave news from, I'll call him, I forget his name, but the guy who was shouting a lot last episode. And they're on this side of the wall, something which is not good and they should not do. So we're about to head out into Ascalon City. Conveniently, our secondary quest is on the way to Char at the gates, but we'll talk to the town crier. Grim news from Devona and Ashford. A clan of Groll has swept north from the woods and into Lakeside County. If they are not stopped, the village will surely be destroyed. Someone must fight these creatures and protect the people of Ashford. Coordinate your efforts with Devona. And we'll say, I'll stop the Groll and go forward as the problems of adventure life just do not end. And we'll just take a brief stroll back in Ascalon, and before we do, I forgot last episode, because of course I do. We'll go ahead and boost our skills. We'll go Soul Reaping, which is the core Necromancer class feature, where we gain energy every time a non-spirit creature dies, within range, and we basically, it's our mana battery, the only way we can, sustain our energy, mana, whatever I call it. A lot of terms get thrown around. And Death Magic, which is our highest damage dealing skill right now, so we just invest 2 points in there. Soul Reaping, just at least get some energy management in early. And you can see Prince Rurik is waiting for us just right outside the gate, and he starts charging over. We'll talk to Haverstan. We'll take this. We'll read that later, as I don't... Oh wait, no, we can read it right now. So Haverstan, we took it right there. I thought he was going to go rushing fully. He would tell us that to learn more about being a necromancer, including how to animate the dead, as we saw Virata, the necromancer, do earlier, we should talk to Necromancer Moon in the catacombs here in Ashford Abbey. We'll get to that later, as we have this to do. You can see Captain Osric right here, and Lady Althea, our mesmer trainer, right there. Prince Rurik will sort of go rushing up, but we'll sort of cut directly and go off the road. They may encounter a couple enemies here and there, and their AI persuades them to fight it. And we'll just speak to Lady Althea, who's wearing this very pretty dress, one of the mesmer armors in the game, here at Althea's Actors Stage, a sort of theater, as mesmers are often associated with sort of acting, plays, and things such as that, and they sort of give off that entire vibe, which is always very fun. So, we tell her, "Hail and hello, how can this humble mesmer help you?" Mesmer's Burden, our beginning quest. She tells us, at the watering hole southwest of here, you will find a rogue bull. Terrible creature, a menace to everyone coming to visit our humble theater. Here are some mesmer spells to assist you. If you dispatch this creature for me, I'd be most grateful. So we say, of course, we'd be happy to help, and we get 3 new skills to our skill bar, our mesmer secondary. We'll replace them as we get our other necromancer skills, as those will be our core focus. Prince Rurik kindly waited here as we spoke with, I don't know if this has been stated, with his betrothed, Lady Althea. That is his fiancée. The bowl is sort of just over there. We'll get to that, since we do need to do a little bit of walking and backtracking, and sort of just handling that in whatever way I will. Trying to be efficient, but, oh, Char are now right here, and they are threatening. I am level 2, so I'm going to run back a little bit and let them take the heat. We can see Prince Rurik already taking a bit of damage. He just got hit pretty hard by the Ignite arrows from Range Char, which can be pretty dangerous, as their skills sort of already pack on a lot of damage, and then the explosions just tack more onto you and anyone nearby. I didn't need to use that, I was panic clicking, because I do not want to die. And you can see, yeah, I'm already out of energy, which was where the Soul Reaping is supposed to come in handy. Got a little distracted there. I won't be clean a lot of this time. We don't even have a build, we're just using whatever is given to us, and that's that quest over. So we'll go ahead and talk to Prince Rurik now. And he says, that should teach them to fear the might of Ascalon. You fought well, I see great deeds in your future, young scholar Grimheart. Thanks, I didn't do anything. And we'll accept that 200 XP, because, yeah, we know we need it. There's a gentleman up there. We won't be speaking to him right now. And we're going to go ahead and just walk forward more. And we're going to go towards where we see that giant fire thing. I'm going to speed through this bit right here just so we get there pretty quick. It was a short little walk, took a few seconds, but time that I didn't feel like filling in, and we're at the statue of one of the other gods of the humans, Balthazar. We'll take a moment to walk in through the portal, entering a new explorable area as we've only actually hit Lakeside County. And so we'll just go ahead and take a step forward and speak to this Warmaster Grast, and the other one we see behind there, Farah Capo. And we can kind of already see as we enter Green Hills County, the statue of Balthazar takes on a much more grand presence. It's ignited on fire, holding a great weapon, typically associated with smiting warriors and things such as that, that might and god of might and brawn. And we'll go ahead and read the plaque. For weeks did battle rage on, and those who had taken up the mantle of war grew weary and their courage began to falter. Then did Balthazar, god of war and fire, appear to the soldiers, carrying with him a grand sword that did glow with such brilliance it blinded any who looked upon it. When he spoke, his voice was like thunder, and it shook the ground with force. Then saith he, Lift up thy weapons, for you are my soldiers, and you must be steadfast, strong and brave of heart. They who neither hesitate nor stumble shall be rewarded. Then shall you have glory. Then shall your deeds be remembered for eternity. And then did release from his sword 100,000 flames, which encircled the soldiers, for this was the fire of courage, and forthwith did they follow the god into the battle without fear or hesitation. Thence was the enemy struck down. Scriptures of Balthazar, 48 before Exodus. And again, coming from a time when the gods still walked amongst the human races, coexisting in the world. Though, as listed there, the gods' power was sort of blinding, and any who would look upon it sort of could lose their sight. And there's actually an entire other story that's rather interesting that we'll get into far later on that relates to that. We'll speak to the Warmaster Grast, and I believe this is a warrior quest. So we're going to deny this, so I don't think I'm ready to take them on. We are not a fighter, I'm sorry, we are here for a very different reason. But he just is a very simple warrior man, holding the same cool-looking armor set warriors do as Duke Gavin, and Farah Capo, who just says hello. Wow, I was expecting more from that. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and take a short walk over to the corner. We didn't come into this area for much, but you can see over here there's someone named Kasha Blackblood, a very necromancy name. Kasha Blackblood, Scala Grimheart, we are both necromancers, we are both level 2, and we both have a single N. So she tells us, Greetings, I'm Kasha Blackblood. I train necromancer apprentices in the art of blood magic. That is, stealing health from enemies to feed oneself. Is there something you'd like to discuss with me? And we speak to her about the power of blood. She tells us, I've got a job for you if you're willing to work. A group of former students of mine are hiding out in the catacombs. They fear my wrath, and rightly so. They have failed in their training, and they must pay the price. They're very fond of Dark Pact, so you should be able to counter them using blood magic to drain their health. And we'll leave right away, so we get blood magic at it. Blood Renewal, which is an okay healing spell, not the best. We sacrifice 15% of our health, so if we're in a bind, this could put us in more danger, but we get plus 3 health regeneration, and when it ends, after the short 7 seconds, we get 40 health, and this exponentially grows. This is without any points in blood magic, which I'll put one in. So we put 1 point, and it's now 50 points back on the end. And then we get Vampiric Touch, which just high energy cost. That's half our entire energy, but we get 32 health back versus the 1 energy. So yeah, the trade-offs for some blood magic is you pay a cost in life, but it's normal lower energy, such as that. And Grasden Protector, he tells us, Hail apprentice, I'm Grasden, a trainer in the art of protection prayers. It's a different kind of healing. The protectors use skills that help prevent damage rather than restore health. Which is a, cool concept and fun thing to play with, as to consider making barriers and, negation and things like that. It's wards and protective spirits, which can be interesting. But we are ignoring it. We don't care. Goodbye, Grasden. We are one of death, not healing. So with that, we're going to take a quick teleport back over to Ashford Abbey. And we're going to go ahead and go over to Devina and handle a problem before we go into the catacombs. And we're gonna just do Control-Shift-H real quick as we walk over to Devna, because I honestly really like going into first person in this game and just going for a nice little stroll around. Like, the game itself is actually very pretty without the HUD. Even though it has old graphics, it still has a lot of the old fantasy magic to it, and it's just sort of a pleasant stroll. We can sort of see all the familiar people walking by, and it just feels actually a bit more immersive going into the environment like this. Though definitely not good for combat or anything, unless you have like your build memorized. But yeah, it's just fairly pleasant. I enjoy these simple, pleasant walks. Those walking simulators, they can get you. Just not Death Stranding for me. Too much deliveries. And we'll go ahead and undo it, get back to the regular HUD and speak with her. So you can see she has a lot of stuff going on here. She says, "Courage is the true hallmark of an Ascalonian. My father died defending the Great Wall, and if I have a chance, I'll do the same." So, a very patriotic individual for Ascalon and defending it, so we're going to go right to the point. Trouble in the woods. The Grawl have been mustering Thaus. You ran before I could finish reading that, and I am following forward. I will pick up those quests after we deal with the present problem. And there is a reason why I'm doing this first. That's because when we go to the catacombs, there is 3 Necromancer quests, and after doing this quest, we can pick up a different quest that leads us to the 3rd Necromancer trainer. And we can sort of see Ascalon citizens running from the Grawl. There's a char right by them, and Devna gets distracted by these scale, so we'll take care of them as she focuses on the things. Oh god, I am about to die. I am literally about to die. We're gonna Ether Feast as a quick heal, and because it's less. They can see they have a healer here too. They have 2 healers, which sort of makes it a bit more of a complicated situation. So we're just going to try and spam Ether Feast and Vampiric Life to keep ourselves up real quick to lower their numbers. They have more coming in, so we're going to go ahead and do Deathly Swarm to try and get a good chunk of them. And you can see there's a char with a green arrow named Vlotah Doontooth. Just on this side of the wall. What's he doing here? How did he bypass all these people? I wanted to talk about that, but I wasn't able to look at the screen and also look at my health, and I didn't want to die this early in the game. God, I am really feeling that low energy. God dang it, Devna, you ran away and left me to finish up the problems. They left the Spirit of Favorable Wind before running off all the way into Regent Valley, the large area over here, which we don't really have a reason to touch as a Necromancer, but I may just do a little brief exploration there for fun. It's primarily meant to be like a ranger training zone, but I like to visit all the outposts in the past that are not beyond the tutorial. But for instance, we'll just talk to Devna. I think the village is safe for now. The Grawl are not very intelligent, but even they understand a show of force. What really troubles me is the presence of that Char Ranger. Would he be inciting the Grawl to attack for some reason? I will warn Ruik of this threat. Thank you for your aid. So yeah, that introduces us to these new creatures, the Grawl. A relatively unintelligent, lesser species that show up both in this game and in the sequel, who are very easy to control. Hey, wait, don't run away. Let me accept the quest. Give me my experience. But yeah, the Grawl are sort of very easy to be conquered and commanded and swayed to one side or not, for very simple reasons. They can even like worship objects as idols, thinking they're gods, and it's sort of an interesting way to think of this culture and creatures that exist here, and they can be used as a war tactic rather well, and the Char seem to be doing that, inciting attacks from other species now on this side of the wall using a ranger, while also pressuring them on the northern front. And that's not a good situation because they have to focus most of their military forces to the northern front, and if they can start inciting large-scale coordinated attacks of the lesser species but overwhelm them with shows of force, well, they're screwed. So let's talk to Devna about different problems and ignore that for right now. So we'll go for Tits for Ashford Abbey. He says, "You've shown yourself to be a courageous and trustworthy. I could use your help. With many bandits and troublemakers around these days, Brother Minlo has asked for my help in collecting the tithe for Ashford Abbey. Duke Baradin is especially generous to the church, and I suspect bandits will attempt to intercept the donation. Can you get Baradin's tithe from his man Grazdan? Oh god, come on, I was just at Grazdan. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay. And deliver it to me. Grazdan will be in Green Hills County, north of here. We should have done this first. I am a fool. Okay. And then we'll get opposition to the king. Yep, I forgot about this quest too. Okay, yeah. I'm facepalming right now, you can't see it. Ah, god, I was too much thinking about making everything coordinated with the Devourers and the Necromancer quests. I forgot about that. Okay. It's sad. These royalist fools oppose King Adalbern because he was not born into nobility. They forget that it was Adalbern who saved us from the guild wars and the old king, Grants be just, who nearly brought Ascalon to ruin. The royalists hope to depose Adalbern and place Duke Baradin on the throne, but no one dares implicate the Duke in their actions. I'd like you to go to Green Hills County and search for signs of support for the royalists. Head north until you find a road to Green Hills County and talk to at least 3 people there. Sound them out to see if they have royalist sentiments. One warning though, do not talk to War Master Grass. At the slightest mention of disloyalty to Adalbern, he's likely to crush your skull. So they give these quests to us at the same time because they lead us to the same area. There's 4 NPCs, so you can talk to 3 people, not including War Master Grass, right at the entrance. And also, you get tips from him, from the other dude and Grazgender Protector, and then you come back there. If I was smart and not a fool and did proper research, I would have did this quest, did the chart at the gate, and then pop them right there, but I'm not that efficient. So we finished that quest. We're going to go to Ascalon City real quick, and we're going to go back to Prince Rurik, as he should have another quest at this point. Unless it's the Town Crier, but no, it's Prince Rurik. I got that right this time. So this time, he tells us, this Char agent that you and Devona witnessed leading the Grawl worries me greatly. I've questioned the guards and many of the townsfolk, but none have seen him. I suspect that he is using the catacombs to move through the countryside unseen. My men are all busy safeguarding the wall, and I can spare none of them. If you are willing, I'd like you to go into the catacombs to see if you can find any evidence as to where this Char is hiding. Perhaps Brother Minlo at the Abbey has seen something. So we tell him, I will find the evidence you seek, and this brings us to a total of 3 quests that bring us to the catacombs and all of our Necromancer skill trainers. We've already accomplished getting these bad boys. We'll go ahead and organize our bar now that we can do that. I'm going to put Ether Feast at the far end along with Blood Renewal as sort of primary heals without doing damage. Though Ether Feast is really good, but our Mesmer skills aren't too great because we have no attributes to boost them up. And we won't care about them in a minute as we're going full Necro. Brother Menlo, he's right there, that's right, talk to him. We don't want to go too fast. So we'll go talk to him, Char in the catacombs. He tells us, a Char ranger stops at the wall? Rurik is right to be worried. I have seen nothing, but perhaps Mistress Moon can offer you some assistance. She is much more familiar with the catacombs than I. And so we need to speak with her anyway, so that's great. So we'll walk right over to her, and we're going to enter the Ascalonian catacombs. I'm gonna say it wrong. So, Necromancer Moon is right to our right here. That sentence should have not worked, but English. Wearing a different armor plate. I believe this is the profane armor. And we'll just give her a chat. So, she tells us, well, if you've come to study, I can show you how to animate the dead. Once you have completed your lessons here, you will wish to seek out other trainers who can teach you new skills. Except, and then she tells us not everyone can be a necromancer. For example, one of my latest students went into the catacombs to summon a dark entity. Since he hasn't come back, I can only surmise his creation probably ate him. If you will agree to destroy the nightmare he summoned, I will show you where he went and give you a spell to help. But I warn you, You'll have to be clever to get past the fire traps in that part of the tombs. Of course, if you fail, I shall use your corpse as fodder for the next, more worthy student. I love the bits of personality they put in there. And we finally get animate bone horror, and we're going to place imagined burden with it. Get rid of the big high skill cost. And this is what summons those horrors that Verata did. We hit level 3, so since we now have some more death magic, we're going to pump a 5 in there, and since we get that energy management, just keep pumping soul reaping. We can't animate things from these guys because they are skeletons, which means they have no flesh, so animate bone horror does not work on them. It could be a somewhat simple thing to overlook in AI that you can just raise it from any corpse, but no, since they are undead, it does not work. Also, what's pretty interesting when you consider the stuff in here is that these are the Ascalonian catacombs, and now there are a bunch of like roving undead roaming around, dangerous, when people are supposed to like visit this place for like families, you know, paying respects to dead families and the god of death himself, or themselves, Grinth. Oh, which we can see his mural right there, the man himself, Grinth, the god of death. He has sort of, I thought about referring to him as they for a second because I sort of don't even imagine them, because Balthazar, Duena, sort of all have, oh wait, no, never mind. He's the son of Duena. Sorry, when I first played this game, before reading any lore about Grinth, I didn't even imagine him as sort of like a human-like entity, because when you see this portrait, it's like a skull face of a deer, bunch of horns, and cold hands. I always viewed him as this sort of strange, enigmatic, otherworldly entity of sort of death and coldness. And we just animated our first bone horror. So I always loved the design of these things. Like, you can see all the ribcage, the like little scrawny sword arm, and it's great. They are an actual horror. Even though I enjoy the Guild Wars 2 game myself, I've always been disappointed in the new models for the bone minions that the Necromancer gets. Before we go in, Rites of Remembrance is sort of speaking about how the dead are restless, and the buried here are many brave warriors who sacrificed their lives defending Ascalon from foreign guilds. From the south and the bestial Chaw to the north, they wonder if it is not too much that their sacrifices be remembered and honored. Someone must place candles on the 4 stands commemorating their actions so they will know we have not forgotten them. I'd rather not. I have other more important things to do. And we could ask her about Char in the catacombs, and she tells us Ruick is wise to suspect the Char of moving through the catacombs. They are fraught with much danger, but if you were familiar with them, they could lead you to almost any region in Ascalon. Seek out my associate, Oberon the Reviled. He makes his home deep in the catacombs, and he will surely know if any Char ventured there. So yeah, that's where we get the other information to speak with the other trainer. I tried pulling up the world map to see, but no, we have to pull up the local map here to see. And you can see they just walked into a fire trap. This is sort of like their little guide to let you know that these traps will kill you and explode you. I'm going to take a second to animate a few bone horrors. And I'd probably say, like, going for Prophecies just to keep yourself alive, it may be good. The Necromancer Monk, it may be a more suitable option just so you can heal your minions to act as a solid barrier between you and dying, as minions have constant health degeneration. So they won't last long unless something is there to keep them healed up. And the AI for like monk henchmen and heroes will always try and heal the minions. And you can see the obvious play right here is either walk right into the trap or be smart, which I just did. We lose the minion immediately, but they put 2 corpses right there, so we'll go ahead and just summon another one and keep it going. We walk in here and we can see the nightmare in this sort of beautiful pool of water, a stained glass mural of Grint across the way, and a tomb nightmare there with these little like wireframe dragon like statues over, skeletal like dragon statues just chilling. So we'll animate 2 bone horrors. Immediately pops up. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I get it. I get it. So you notice we get a pop. We got a pop of +2 after our bone minions died. They're not spirits, so whenever our minions die too, we gain energy. Sorry, I just did like a pop back as that thing died in one deathly swarm. I was surprised. But we're gonna take a brief walk up because this is actually really pretty. 3 murals. Let me get that Control Shift H here. Sort of step up and appreciate. You gotta love a stained glass window, especially one so strangely detailed. Like, look at this. It has the strange sort of mixed color robes and these her crazy horns just like going out from the sides all the way over pointing back to the chin. It's highly impractical. And to do like goat-like ram horns coming in, then like the deer skull. It's fairly well detailed here, and this is why I just thought of them as a weird, otherworldly, enigmatic entity. They look like it. Oh god, I love the God of Death here in this game series. They're great. And oh, we'll walk back through to Necromancer Moon. And Necromancer Moon's right there, had a little bit of a... and finish this quest. Let's see what she says to us. Most impressive. You dispatched that nightmare rather quickly. You show some real talent for the work. And she's right, that thing went down in like literally 1 skill. And again, we're going to ignore the rites of remembrance, and we're going to go ahead and shift our quests. And we're going to go ahead and do Char in the catacombs. Can I get to him from through here? I don't think so. The catacombs are a strange and convoluted thing. The power of blood leads all the way over there. So we're going to do a quick backtracking here. I'm going to go ahead and speed forward as we move through You know what? No, wait. No, I have stuff to talk about. Never mind. So, yeah, catacombs are one of my favorite areas in Pre-Searing. Actually, well, a while ago when I was running a D&D campaign, sort of to introduce my friends, and so I wouldn't get overwhelmed myself, I decided to start off an adventure in Pre-Searing Ascalon. And the first thing we ever did with the party was go into the catacombs. And it was really fun sort of redesigning the Guild Wars Ascalon into like sort of like somewhat play maps and designing encounters based on here for like a low level party, sort of getting to grips with the environment and fighting. Almost attack this guy, but we do not need to. These gargoyles are non-hostile. But so it's like I was able to sort of just recreate the Ascalonian catacombs in Dungeons and Dragons. I put down some lesser scaled gargoyles and then the full on like intense gargoyle that could fly and everything in that game, and it was fun. I got to create magic items based on the different areas you were in, sort of make unique things like the Rites of Remembrance quest, just sort of reflavored as being sort of the pools were haunted because of the corruption put in place here without the rites being performed. And we're gonna go ahead and kill the Shatter Gargoyle. Okay, I'm running. I was not expecting them to all become hostile. Put backfire on us. This is a bad mesmer spell that will nearly kill us. I just wanted to get a close look at the statue of Grint, because I want to read that tablet. Alright, we'll kill this guy. Alright, this fight should be about over. As you can see, since it's just ourselves, it goes pretty slowly. They don't do much damage to us, and it's pretty easy to keep ourselves sustained, especially because Minion Master is well built for self-sustenance. as weird as that is to say, with being able to constantly gain energy from their minions dying, and as the minions kill the creatures for you, they get energy back for you, and it's a whole thing. So pick up this birthday cupcake. We're going to go ahead and equip this staff because it gives us. We're going to use this sparkler and pick up this flat bow. Get this loot. Another birthday cupcake. These can be pretty valuable in trade sometimes. We're going through the anniversary event right now, so we still we're getting a few little party items. Put those back in my Zoomlight chest with all the other consumables I don't use. And we're going to read the statue of Grents as we now get a third depiction. First we see the painting, the murals, the stained glass, and now this statue of like shifting cold and frozen over, seeing once again the strange face mask and horns and dead clawing at the clawing or reaching out at their cloak. And so we'll go ahead and read this. Came then Desmina, scorned and exiled by her people, and in her misery, wretchedness, did Desmina curse the gods for abandoning all who, like her, admired power and ambition. Asketh she, where's the god to whom I give my undying devotion? Where's the god to whom I may beg revenge against those who scorn me? And rumbled then the earth from far below, and with a terrible groan split open. Grew then the ground white with frost and ice, and from forth the frozen earth spilled the rotted skeletal minions of Grinth. Then did appear the god, and with bony hands outstretched, welcomed the girl into his fold. Saith he, I am your god. Follow where I lead, come whence I call, and the rotted corpses of the dead will be yours to control. And swearing allegiance in life and beyond, did Desmina thence become the god's first follower. Scriptures of Grinth, 48 before Exodus. I always loved these little lore tidbits. It is so fun to read and learn about the existence of the gods and interacting with people, as the gods are supposedly the people who brought humans to Tyria, and it's sort of strange reading these excerpts of people in the land becoming the first followers, and even more interesting when we consider the lore that Grents is not the original god of death. Instead, he took the place of the old one. So for him, it makes even a lot more sense that he would only be gaining his first follower at a later point in time, as the child of one of the gods and someone who rose to the power of taking one of the places of the 5 gods of the Tyrian pantheon, that he would not have the same amount of followers as the others. And when they cried out for help, Grent saw the opportunity to instill himself in place among the human Tyrian people as the new god of death to become, for those who did not have someone to represent him, or bring back the dead to have revenge against your enemies, and this gargoyle is going to make me kill him for standing in my way. And that did not do a lot of damage to you, buddy. Just gonna do this, die with my mesmer skill. So this is our Cache of Black Blood quest, where we see the Blood Fanatic. We see 3 of them. We are just gonna quickly pop them with the death. They're running away. Oh good. Oh good. They're running away into this place. This other massive cathedral in the catacombs. Oh, I already hit the wrong skill. I said Deathly Swarm, and I did not. I used a completely different skill. Okay, they are hitting me hard. I'm going to Ether Feast this guy. He almost killed me. I can't do that. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Alright, we're going to Ether Feast to get our health back. Which is already auto-regenerating pretty quick. I hit 4 again, hit him with a Deathly Swarm, and then can't pop him with a Deathly Touch, so we're just going to use the Vampiric thing. And, make sure I get my auto attacks in. Gonna wait for my energy to pop back up to 15 so I can the vampiric touch on them, and boom, we are alive. Honeycombs and champagne poppers. God, this low inventory is killing me. Pick up that champagne popper. We're gonna... These are quest items and unidentified. I don't need bones. Give me that honeycomb. I don't need crafting materials. But what we're walking into is a massive tomb. You can see we got a bunch of sepulchres down here. Rather beautifully crafted. We got some actual dragony gargoyles up on top here. And we walk across this sort of beautiful walkway with a fully loaded with sepulchres down below as well, and this massive sort of line of coffins right here. And from behind them, 2 more blood fanatics. Let's kill him from a corner. We are a coward. I'll admit it. We are a coward. We're going to pick up these skeletal limbs. We can pick up the honeycomb because it's there. And we're just going to give a brief glance. No beautiful murals or anything this time. Just actual, well-done, non-dilapidated construction and a bunch of rows of coffins going along. Well, that was a nice little detour. And now we are just a couple steps away from seeing Oberon the Reviled. I told you, this may be loaded with getting the skill quests. We didn't even do our Mesmer secondary, but we are getting all our Necromancer stuff out of the way. Yep. I was planning on being actually efficient in this episode, but our plans rarely work. So we're going to go ahead and just sort of speed forward through this little walkway as we get to the next little opening area. Alright, we're ending the speed here as we enter another rather beautiful area, as we see this massive sort of iron bridge with these gigantic colossal bones down below. I like to imagine they're like dragon bones or something, because we see that massive, draconic skull. When I was sort of redesigning the Ascalon catacombs down here, sort of reflavored it, there's like an ancient Dracolich sealed down here, like a Necromancer undead dragon. And normally there is a collector here, and this resurrection shrine would pop being active. But I think that's because there'd be a ton of gargoyles down here too, but that doesn't happen because we're doing the Cache of Blackblood quest. It changes the spawns in the catacombs. And so the collector isn't here. All the gargoyles that populate this area aren't here either, just because we had the blood fanatic. And we go to Green Hills County. This is another entrance. We aren't going to take that. We'll probably use that on the exit. And now we take a walk over here to try and find Oberon the Reviled. And we can already see on the minimap up here there are a ton of red dots. There's going to be a lot of skeletons in here, so it's going to be a power through slog to get to Oberon. But we get a little glimpse of it on the minimap over here right now as well. Yeah, a lot of stuff down here. We can take a brief walk. If we walk over here, this is where I was thinking about, where we can see into the room with Nightmare. We can see the Devourer and Lady we turned into minions to see the trap. This is where the Nightmare was. I just couldn't see the spot I was talking about from down here. And there's actually a painted on banner on the wall I didn't catch before. It looks confusing when you look on the minimap because it looks like it's sort of just right there on the side. So all these corpses are going to attack us as we come in, so I'm going to speed through this bit as well. Alright, we're finally here at Oberon. We got quickly overwhelmed. We're going to do this real quick, put a life siphon on this guy, and we're going to vampiric touch to get that out of the way. We're going to then do a deathly swarm to get this guy near death and just auto attack him dead. And then we're going to go ahead and attack this guy. We're going to renew our blood renewal, quickly put a life siphon on this guy, and then go ahead and do a Vampiric Gaze to get that extra health back. Just wait for our energy to regen as we get high health and get the boost from Blood Renewal, and go ahead and Desolate Swarm for the high cold damage on this guy, while it's continuing on our auto attack. We're going to go ahead and pump back up our Blood Renewal now that it's about recharged, Vampiric Gaze to gain back the health we lost, and just beat them down. As I was fighting all these enemies, I sort of got a groove for what to do. Since I'm solo fighting, I put myself in a bit more danger, so I kick off Blood Renewal, then immediately Life Siphon to draw on the target, putting the Life Degeneration on them, quickly followed by a Vampiric Gaze to gain back the health I sacrifice, and Deathly Swarm to do damage, auto attack, recharge, repeat, just to make sure I stay alive, getting a better groove for the Necromancer skills and how things work. Not even touching the Mesmer skills, because that was working actually pretty well. And we'll go ahead and talk to Oberon, looking exactly like Verata, but old game, you can't have him make separate models for all the different people that are going to be here. Oh, okay. He tells me, "Greetings. I'm called Oberon. Curses are my specialty. What can I elucidate for you, young one?" Char in the catacombs. Oh god, we don't have the inventory space for this. 1 second. Okay. Holy staff, you're going away. I don't need you. Char in the catacombs. So he tells us, "You come here seeking Char? You are wise to seek out Oberon, for no creature, be they living or dead, moves through here without my knowledge. This Char that you seek comes often to the underground, but he does not make his lair here. The spirits of this place would not tolerate him should he seek to take up residence. If you require proof of his presence, take this. It's a token he left behind during one of his encounters with the denizens of this place. Now then, leave me to my studies. Return to the world of the light." And let's just take a second and talk about what great flavor this is for a Necromancer. He just secludes himself far down here in the catacombs, away from all society, to just tamper with and study the dead. He does not go outside or communicate with other people. He knew about this Char walking through here. He did not report it to anyone. He likely does just not care. He's living underground. He's going to stay underground. He is basically a hermit. And dealing with a bunch of dark stuff too. And he is pretty far. Like, he's just by this massive thing with, like, dozens of restless corpses and raging cadavers, deranged variants, with this, like, bottomless, watered pit with massive statues flowing down. Like, I'm just gonna walk out for a second and look down here before taking the last Necromancer quest and looking this colossal, bottomless, like, looking pit. Like, how terrifying is it to just step out and peer into just a deep, long void? It's terrifying. So we're going to do a quick walk back and just go ahead and get our last Necromancer quest from Oberon. The Accursed Path. Working here in the catacombs protects me from the prying eyes of the living, but my necromantic experiments have begun to attract the attentions of creatures from beyond the Pale. I'd like to continue my work without interruption by these infernal beasts. If you go south and eliminate the crypt fiends that have been bothering me, I will share with you a few of my most essential curses. Then you too will see the true power in the necromancer arts lies not merely in the manipulation of the dead, and we'll consider that a bargain. And we get soul barbs. So this will put 15 damage whenever there is a curse or hex put on the foe. We'll go ahead and replace that with Conjure Phantasm. And in Faint-Heartedness, the target foe attacks 50% slower and has -0 health degeneration. We'll replace Ether Feast with that to get our full Necromancer. Oh, Crypt Fiend's already right here, okay. We'll go ahead and put those Soul Barbs on him. Put the Faint-Heartedness on him. Put that thing on him to just try and stack up damage, get a feel. He's not even attacking. I think he's trying to attack us, but Oberon's not an ally of ours, so it's stuck behind him, so it sort of just like glitched it out. I don't know, that was And we get another piece of loot I don't have room for. Okay. We're playing this game. Inventory management. God dang, I'm gonna drop the gargoyle skulls. Yeah. Okay, we're getting another crypt fiend coming here. Alright, we get another birthday cupcake and the sparkler, which we don't have room for, so we're gonna ignore it. Finish that quest and take a quick walk back. Sorry for all the speed ups, it's just, once you have the certain skill bar, combat does get a little bit repetitive, so I don't want to just spend too much time trying to make stuff up while I focus on not dying. And that they just had large health bars that took a little while to whittle down. It was this last bit, he tells us, "Excellent. I shall be glad to be rid of those fiends. You shall promise in the art of necromancy, and accept that quest, and we are done with all our necromancer skill quests. We hit level 4. We're going to go ahead and boost our... We'll be using a lot of curses soon, but right now we'll reallocate when we get back into a town, but right now let's just keep our blood magic up. With that, I'll probably say goodbye for right here. We end in the catacombs, loots all around us, and, well, see you next time, and also don't forget the goodbye wave. I need to do the goodbye wave. See y'all.